Welcome to 5 at 5, and this time we're talking about Crystal Palace drawing 2-2 at Arsenal. Not good enough, but let's get into it. Number one, let's start with the really obvious, and that was MacArthur's awful challenge, can you even call it that, on Bukayo Saka. It wasn't a challenge, was it? He just kicked him. He just absolutely clattered him. How that was not a red card is beyond me. And look, Arsenal obviously weren't good enough, but you have to think to yourself, if the referee, and guess who that was, Mike Dean of course, had made the right decision in that moment, how differently the game could have panned out. We could be, 3 or 2 points better off. But you have to talk about that incident because, look, MacArthur might well have been trying to just volley the ball and not intentionally kick Bukayo Saka. But the point is, if he breaks his leg there, it's a red card. So why is it not a red card even if Saka appeared to have avoided injury, which now we know at half-time he didn't avoid? I hope he's all right. I hope he's back for the Villa game on Friday. But MacArthur should have definitely got a red card there. That swing was wild, it was out of control, it was dangerous. It was obvious to every single one of us in the stadium, but it wasn't obvious to Mike Dean. I'm not sure where Aubameyang was situated on the field of play, but when he saw it after the game, this is what he had to say. Number two, there were two ex-Arsenal midfielders on the touchline yesterday, and one of them was Patrick Vieira, a club legend. The other one was Mikel Arteta, and we all know who the better midfielder was. And the better midfielder in their playing days is the manager who won the midfield battle yesterday. Patrick Vieira absolutely dominated the midfield battle tactically yesterday, and even when Arsenal were forced to make the change from Bukayo Saka to Sambi Lokonga, which I really thought would help us in midfield, it still didn't work. Patrick Vieira obviously enhanced his reputation yesterday, and the midfield battle was no more evidently lost than in the 2 goals that Crystal Palace scored. First it was Thomas Partey kind of turning into space and giving the ball away, with Benteke then finishing it off, and then for the second goal it was Sambi Lokonga overplaying and then slipping, and then obviously Palace went and countered and scored. The interesting thing is Thomas Partey did exactly what Mikel Arteta did before the game had even kicked off. Look at this little clip.
Highbury in the days when he was pulling on the red.
Number 3. And look, when you look at the Palace goals, you think to yourself, yeah, they were sloppy mistakes from Partey and Lokonga, but could the defence have done any better? And this is where I'm going to put it over to you guys, because I'm unsure as to how much we should blame Gabriel for the Benteke goal and Ben White for the Edouard goal. Look, I do think that Gabriel could have done a better job not letting Benteke get onto his right foot and in the centre of the goal, but he was always up against it when Benteke got the ball and started running at him. And then when Edouard was running at Ben White backpedals, goes into the area, doesn't really do enough to stop the shot. But what do you think? Was it their fault? Was it Gabriel who could have done more? Was it Ben White who could have done more? Or do you say, look, not the defender's fault at all, and it was all down to the Partey and Lokonga errors as to the reasons we conceded those goals? Let me know in the comments below what you would have liked to have seen Gabriel and White do in those moments. Now, number 4, our home form. Frankly, it is awful. From this exact date last year, we've played 21 games at home in the Premier League. We've won 8, we've drawn 5, and we've lost 8. That's right, we fail to win more than we actually do win. And even worse than that, we lose just as much as we win. It's really not good enough. And look, this isn't a short spell of time that we're basing this on now. Arteta's been there for quite a while. We're taking a whole 12 months of home Premier League form, and he's just failed to make it a fortress. So what do you think? Is this enough of a reason to kind of say, look, Arteta's not the man? Or in recent months, have you seen enough of an improvement to suggest that actually we are going to start improving because we all know that your home form in the Premier League has to be the basis of any achievement. You know, you've got to make your home stadium a fortress and go and do something off the back of good home form. So let me know what you think. Is it good enough? If not, is it time to let Arteta go? Number 5. This is an interesting one for you, right? Because when we went to Burnley away, this was the lineup. And today we played Palace at home, and this was the lineup. Don't try and play spot the difference, because the point that I'm making is that there was no difference. On that day, Thomas Partey against Burnley, a very physical team, basically he did a great job against them. And yes, I know what you're going to say. Burnley play over the midfield, not through the midfield. So perhaps that's the difference. But are we too quick to judge whether this can work? On that day against Burnley, we played Partey as the only anchor in midfield, and the rest of the team were attacking, just the same as Palace yesterday. One game it worked, another game it didn't. I personally think it's too quick to judge as to whether that is a selection that can work for us with Partey the only one in midfield, or whether it's a selection that simply won't work for us. Yesterday, I feel against Palace, Odegaard didn't have his best game. Against Burnley, I thought he had a really good game. So perhaps that was the difference. And also, I don't think that Partey's midfield compatriots got close enough to him to give him that support. I feel like when they're on the ball, it's fine. But yesterday, off the ball, they didn't tuck in close enough to him and give him any help to stop Palace from playing through the lines. So, are we being a bit too quick to judge, or is your mind made up? Is Thomas Partey not cut out to play that number 6 role himself? Let me know in the comments. That's 5 at 5 done. See you next time after Villa, where hopefully we get